Today, I start a challenge on Hypixel Skyblock, where my goal is to go from nothing to a balance of $100 million. Except I'm only able to play for 20 minutes every real-life day. The only way to know is to load up a new profile and start day 1, where I bridged across the void to collect the cobblestone from a minion on my island. Then I quickly made my way to spawn and talked to the farmer merchant, sold the cobblestone, and bought my first tool of the series. With it, I started farming wheat to get my first bit of cash. Between leveling up my farming skill and selling the different drops, I got just about $2,300. The last thing I had to do in spawn was grab the rogue sword. Then I went over to the farming island and started to unlock more collections. I killed a bunch of cows, chickens, and pigs, which got me up to combat level 2, and then I moved on to gathering different crops from all around the island. After reaching farming 9, I decided to head to the desert island, and while exploring around, I unlocked the mushroom, cactus, sugarcane, cocoa bean, and mutton collections, leaving only one left, rabbit. After finally getting the kill, I became an intermediate farmer and used the rest of the day to gather even more resources. I started day 2 back in the hub, talking with the villagers scattered around spawn. They told me a bunch of information about the game, but the final one, Leo, told me about leaflet armor, which could be unlocked in the oak collection. So I used the money from farming yesterday to buy some gold and wood. Then I crafted myself a golden axe. I decided to spend some money on experience bottles to get it at least efficiency 1. Then headed over to the forest to start collecting oak logs. I unlocked the recipe, and after another couple minutes of breaking leaves, I got my first helmet. Then I remembered there's a magical tool called shears, so in a matter of seconds I had a full set of leaflet armor and made my way to the park. I finally had access to all the woods, so I started mining birch wood, but I had to hurry because this day was quickly coming to an end. Then I moved on to spruce wood, and after that, dark oak. In the back there was an NPC named Ryan who ran the campfire challenges. I completed level 1 and 2 super easily, and after beating level 3 I was rewarded with the campfire badge, which was my first talisman of this profile. Since I was over foraging 4, I was able to move on to the acacia area, and there I found a melody, but they're definitely for a later day. The final wood that I had to collect was jungle, and it was really easy because there was no players trying to mine with me. I did a little bit more exploring around and found Gustav in the spruce biome. I attempted his race and finished it in 46 seconds, winning a polished pebble. When I got on day 3, I found that Jerry's workshop was open. There was so many ways to make money here that I couldn't miss the opportunity to go visit. After teleporting under a giant Christmas tree, I went and talked to St. Jerry, who let me know there was 20 presents hidden all around the island. So I started to explore, trying to find them all. Some were really easy, basically in plain sight, but a lot were hidden on roofs of buildings. So most of the time I was parkouring around trying to get to them or even find them. While exploring, I stumbled across a new area. It was a giant ice cave, and inside there was treasure hidden in the walls. I collected some of it, but eventually went back to finding presents. And finally I found the last one up on the top of a tower. While walking back to St. Jerry, someone gave me a present, so I decided to give them my presents at the same time. Eventually there was 5 of us all opening up presents at the same time, and I managed to make around 70k. After talking with Jerry, I was rewarded with a green present, which gave me $2,000. While exploring the island even more, I found Gulliver, who hosted the chicken race. I completed it twice and won a present compass, which in the future would help me find even more presents. Then I went back to the glacial cave to find more hidden treasure and open even more presents. On day 4, I decided to work on my stats, so I focused on talisman. With the resources I had, I was able to make a farming talisman with some wheat and a speed talisman with some sugarcane. Then I went to the adventurer at spawn and managed to buy 6 more talisman for $26,000. Next, I started working on unlocking minions. This would allow me to get free resources to sell and make money without even playing. I chose to prioritize the important minions, so I started with an oak minion. That way I'd be able to unlock a small storage so I could maximize how much my minions could hold. Then I crafted the rest of the wood minions, but for now those wouldn't get placed down. Because of Jerry's workshop, I had a bunch of ice, so I managed to craft an ice minion, and after buying some more ice from an NPC at spawn, I got it all the way up to level 8, which made it the best minion I currently had on my island. After that, it was time to move on to the farming minions. Potato, carrot, sugarcane, I wanted them all, but some I didn't have the resources for, so I quickly went to the farming island and grabbed when I needed to craft the last 3 minions, wheat, melon, and potato. I continued working on minions day 5, except today I actually had to go and unlock their recipes. But first I needed to collect the minions I already had on my island. I wasn't able to sell too much of it, but instead I invested it into leveling up the minions. I had been doing a lot of block breaking lately, so I decided to start with some combat minions. These were going to be cow, chicken, and pig. There was no real order to this. I just went around the farming island and killed everything that moved until I got a stack of each drop, and all I had to do was craft the minion. Then I moved on to the desert island. Because of how much cactus there was, I started by unlocking and crafting that minion. Then I moved on to trying to unlock the cocoa bean minion. I got super lucky with some drops and managed to get it all the way up to level 2. I quickly ran onto the island and grabbed some mushrooms, leaving only 1 minion left, the sheep minion, which would be the hardest to unlock. But like everything, they die when you hit them enough times. On day 6, I found out Diana was the mayor, so I used some of my money to buy a griffin pet, but currently it was terrible. So to increase its stats, I went to my island and collected all of my minions, and that got it up to level 4, but I needed more, so I decided it was finally time to go mining. I quickly made my way through the coal mine and over to the gold island, where I reforged my rogue sword and found the lazy miner's pickaxe deep in the caves. Then it was time to move on to the deep caverns. I began by unlocking level 1 for both the iron and gold ingot collection. Then I continued on to lapis. It was a pain to navigate through the caves, but sometimes it led to me finding the perfect spot to mine and some secrets to help me with my progression. Like in the lapis quarry, where I found the lapis miner and traded him my iron pickaxe for a compactor. After dying to a pigman in the redstone area, I had to rethink my plan, so I started only unlocking the new collections and then going back later to level them up. I got all the way down to the slime area before having another problem, and it was that the slimes were impossible to pass. But in the end, I did find a safe route all the way to the diamond reserves, where I managed to unlock the obsidian collection while standing on the ledge of a ribcage. On day 7, I decided to unlock auto pickup, and for this I needed Skyblock level 6. I knew of 5 ways to get experience, and the first one was to upgrade minions. So I went to my island and did just that. It got me really close, but I still needed more, so I moved on to method 2, the museum. For this, I needed to buy some items from different NPCs scattered across the map. It ended up costing me about $2,000, but after talking to the museum curator and submitting my items, it was all worth it because it allowed me to finally reach Skyblock level 6, which means the rest of the day could be used to make money. To do this, I made a golden shovel and gave it efficiency 3. Then I made my way to the desert island and started collecting sand. Thanks to the newly unlocked auto pickup, all the drops were going straight into my inventory, and I didn't have to waste any time picking them up. It was a great way to make money, but also good for leveling up my griffin pet in mining level. In the end, it made me over $18,000. On day 8, I had another chance to go back to Jerry's workshop, and I wanted to speedrun it to see how much money I could make. So with my present compass, I went all around the island grabbing the hidden presents. But even with the compass, some were hidden in very sneaky spots. After finding all 20, I got my green present from St. Jerry and went over to the glacial cave. The goal here was to find as much treasure as possible hidden in the walls, mainly red and green presents or the super rare talisman. I was able to create a route that allowed me to get the most drops possible, and I got my first red present after only 36 white presents. Eventually the actual Jerry event started, but I decided it was better to collect treasure since I was getting close to the end of the day and I wouldn't have been able to finish the event. In total, I got 69 white presents, 34 green presents, and 2 red presents, along with 848 ice bait. And on day 9, I started opening the presents. The first present got me $10,000, but really I was aiming for a snow minion because it was an amazing way to make passive money. I started with the white presents, then the green, and by the time I got to opening the red presents, there was 5 people surrounding me. In the end, I got $243,000, and the only good drops were the looting 4 and scavenger 4 enchanted books. I didn't get a single snow minion, so I went back to my island and started collecting my minions, and found every single one completely full. I managed to level up 5 minions, the ice, sugarcane, melon, cobblestone, and mushroom minions. But then I started to realize just how annoying it was to craft enchanted drops, so I wanted to unlock quick craft. It would save me a bunch of time whenever I was making money, so I made my way to spawn and quickly did the challenges till I got to the carpenters. After giving them 64 white wool, I unlocked the carpentry skill, and all I had to do now was get it to level 3. So I started buying items from different NPCs all around spawn and crafting them into their enchanted versions. Then I used that to level up minions until I finally unlocked quick craft. The big goal for day 10 was to unlock the bazaar. I was only 20 Skyblock experience away, so I started collecting my minions and leveling them up. Now that I had quick craft, this was so much easier. When I finished, I was only 4 experience away, but then I remembered the mushroom minion under my island, which allowed me to finally level up. So I headed to spawn for the next part of my plan, which was to spend as much money as possible on resources that I could flip and sell to the bazaar for a profit. I started at the builder NPC buying ice. I spent around $7,000, and after it sold, I was going to be making a profit of $25,000. Then I moved on to the lumber merchant, buying all of their wood, which was going to make me $36,000. But while I was going to sell it, I was locked out of the bazaar for a minute, so I used that time to craft another wart minion before going to buy more items from the farmer merchant. Everything there had massive profit margins, but then I realized that seeds and wheat were selling for literal thousands of dollars a stack. I wasn't sure why, but I decided to use that to my advantage and farm wheat for as long as possible. For my first inventory, I made 10k from the wheat and 20k from the seeds. I ended up earning over $200,000 today, and my total balance was up to $500,000. But day 11 will have to wait till a later video. So I hope you all enjoyed the challenge so far, and if you want to see the full day recordings, consider becoming a channel member like these amazing people. And like always guys, have a great day.